Welcome to Whitney Hall at the Kentucky Center for the Performing Arts. This is the home of Louisville's Broadway series. This episode we're going to talk with the president of Broadway in Louisville, and then we'll follow it up with a great meal at Set at Theater Square. Now it's time for me to practice for my Broadway debut.
Louisville is a theater town, and so shows want to come play Louisville. That's the first hurdle. Then, of course, you get into the jigsaw puzzle of fitting a show's itinerary or its route across the country with the availability in the Kentucky Center. So once you match all of that up, then you're able to present a season and put shows together. You try to do a family show, a revivals, a couple of brand new shows. So, I mean, the neat thing about Broadway is that it is very broad, and the demographics can extend from little peeps, you know, who are coming to see A Christmas Story or The Grinch, all the way to a more sophisticated theater goer who's coming to see The Book of Mormon or Rent. Well, really, Broadway started in Louisville in 1938, if you can believe that, out at the Iroquois Amphitheater, and it was called the Louisville Park Theatrical Association at the time. Our nonprofit partner here is the Louisville Theatrical Association, which then moved to the Macaulay Brown, I mean, it's changed names. Yeah. And when the Kentucky Center was a glimmer in everyone's minds, they knew that a strong Broadway series was an economic important element of the building of that building. So we committed in 1983 or 82 at the Brown and moved over to the Kentucky Center and extended our performance weeks. Back in those days we did 3 or 5 performances of every show, and when we went into the Kentucky Center then we extended that to 8 performances. Some of the biggest shows, of course, are what we call the mega musicals. Phantom of the Opera, the first time it was here, was incredible. It was one of the biggest shows. It was one of the first shows that ever hung a piece of the show out over the audience. Generally, you're behind the proscenium, and it was the first one where we actually had to put structure points into the roof of the Kentucky Center over everyone's heads. So, you know, that was a little bit daunting. The Lion King was huge. When the Lion King went on sale, the line stretched from the Kentucky Center past the Galt House and down to River Road. Typically we'll do 5 shows, that's 40 performances, another couple of specials, so that's 16 more. And we really don't run on a monthly basis. It's all about how far and where the shows are and whether or not they can get into a particular time at the Kentucky Center. We share the center with the orchestra, the opera, and the ballet, so we all navigate the dates and whatnot, and so that's kind of how that calendar shapes up. Well, I think for a city of its size, people are quite surprised to find out that we have the core major classical arts groups, and then to have a very successful stage 1, which I think is what begins the growth of people growing into theater. You go to stage 1, you go to Actors Theater, you grow into becoming a subscriber to the Broadway series, and I think that process and that path for people is not prevalent in all cities, and certainly not one the size of Louisville. So when I'm in New York, producers are, when I say I'm from Louisville, they smile. It's great because they know they want to play here. I think that Broadway has gotten much more sophisticated, and it's sending out shows that replicate the experience on Broadway nearly exactly. That contributes to the growth that we have. Over the last 4 or 5 years, we've gone from 9,000 subscribers to over 13,000 subscribers, and of course that just is a snowball effect of getting better, bigger shows faster. So it's really been great, and it's because this market is so good.
After exploring the Broadway series in Louisville, we are now at Set at Theater Square. It's in the Theater District of Louisville, right next to Louisville Palace, Brown Theater, and Mercury Ballroom, also within walking distance to Kentucky Center for the Arts, where the Broadway series is held. We had an amazing meal here. It's open for lunch and dinner, so I highly recommend it as an accompaniment to the show you're going to see. And we started with fried green tomatoes and green chili wontons, and then I got the fish tacos with a side of the sweet potato hash. We also had a grilled chicken sandwich with a side of Brussels sprouts and a chopped salad. We had the most epic desserts. We had chocolate layered cake, and then we had something called the main dessert, which, guess what? It's a horse's mane made of pink cotton candy. It was incredible. Thanks for watching another episode of Looking at Louisville. You can find us online at Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, or Twitter, and you can also find us on gotolouisville.com. If you have any questions or ideas for future episodes, email us at feedback@gotolouisville.com. Thanks for watching. We had an amazing meal here.